Okay, so you're thinking about going plant-based, vegan, or even vegetarian. As a holistic nutritionist and somebody who's been eating this way for over 15 years, let me give you some advice so that you don't make the same mistakes that I made. I'm going to give you 5 tips that are going to help you avoid frustration, fatigue, nutritional gaps, and will set you up for success as you go through this new health journey. Here's the first thing I wish I knew when I went plant-based, is to take time to develop your why. For me, I started on a plant-based diet after my mom was diagnosed with early onset dementia. So for me, I wanted to know more about how my body worked, how food was impacting my overall health. So one day I just stopped eating animal-based products cold turkey. I should say, cold tofu. Your reason for why you're doing this is completely personal. It may be environmental, it may have to do with an ethical reason, and you feel that a plant-based diet is the right direction to go. The thing that I will leave you with is that your why will evolve as you go through life, but that's a part of the process. And one thing that I wish I knew going in was to really work on my why. Here's the second thing I wish I knew more about: nutrition. Nutrition matters. At first I thought eating more plants was enough. I was wrong. It was very wrong. When I started off, I was an avid runner. That's me here running a marathon. Also, I was a dancer. I danced about 5 to 6 times a week. So my diet needed to be more focused on building more lean muscle to support my physical activities. And I just focused on what felt good, the vibes. So I wasn't taking the time to learn about each nutrient I needed to take in on a daily basis, both macronutrients and micronutrients. The shift change for me was around 2020. I decided to go back to school and to get a degree in nutrition. Here are some of my key takeaways. What are the minimum daily requirements for all 7 essential nutrients? And how do those requirements change throughout your life? I also learned how to properly track my daily intake, whether that's on a food label or I'm using some sort of technology like MyFitnessPal. Eventually, I was able to measure my intake visually and use internal cues to better understand how my body was responding to what I was eating. So you don't need a degree in nutrition to understand this information. There are so many different resources out there to help you. I'll leave a couple in the description to help you get started. All right, number 3 is eating a balanced plant-based diet. Going plant-based is about adding more plants and is less about being restrictive. It's also about learning how to make smart substitutions. The key is balance. You don't want to underconsume in certain nutrients like protein, iron, or B12, and you for sure don't want to overconsume in processed carbs and fats. I notice that people do run into the issue of following the trends of the time. A few years ago, Beyond Beef and the Impossible Burgers were amazing. They were a revelation in the plant-based space. Now you'll start to hear people talk about how over-processed those foods are. Another thing you'll hear people talk about a lot is only eating whole foods, only eating raw and organic. Although that information is great and can be very helpful, it does limit how you can approach your plant-based diet. So for me, my balanced diet is a pyramid actually. At the base of my pyramid is whole foods. Whole foods are great. The great thing about whole foods is that you get more bang for your buck. You're getting a variety of nutrients, especially when it comes to things like complex carbohydrates. So this is a great foundation and is what I live by. Next are to find those foods that can be complementary to your foundation. So for me, that would be tofu, tempeh, and different foods like that. And so at the top of my pyramid are the foods that complement the entire diet. And those things can be protein shakes, essential amino acid supplements. It's there to complement and to assist. So the majority of the food that I'm consuming are whole foods. Then I'll complement those whole foods with items that are high in fiber or they might be high in protein. Then to round everything out, I might take an essential amino acid supplement. I might incorporate some fill roast sausages or some Impossible grounds when I see fit, and that might be because it's Taco Tuesday, or I might be so busy that I don't have time to really focus in on my protein intake, and those options are great to help me meet my protein targets. You want to do your research, you want to find out what works for your lifestyle, and just go for it. You'll figure it out. Trust me. Tip number 4, have flexibility. When you're starting, you are in a transition period. So it's great to have flexibility if you are not hitting your nutritional targets or you're struggling to stay consistent. So that flexibility doesn't mean you need to go back to eating animal-based products. You can incorporate some of those top of the pyramid things that I talked about. That could be incorporating a protein shake, an essential amino acid supplement to help you reach those nutritional targets and to make sure that you're not compromising your overall diet. Another thing to understand is you may need to be flexible when you are traveling to other states or other countries, as you may not have access to all of the foods that you have back home. Just be ready to tap into that flexibility when you need to hit those nutritional targets. Because again, nutrition is one of our foundations and we don't want to compromise our daily intake just because we are in certain situations. As you develop, you'll better navigate certain situations like traveling or social situations, right? But you want to have some flexibility so that you can better manage stress, anxiety around eating, and you can develop food phobias. So having some flexibility in this transition period will allow you to really better manage your stress and anxiety and not have phobias. All right, we made it. Tip number 5 is learn your staples. You want to find a few staple meals that help you stay consistent and become your go-tos. For me, my staples for sure are my breakfast yogurt bowl, a good smoothie, stir fries, and I love chickpea salad. These are just my go-to meals. They are not the majority of what I eat, but on a weekly basis, I'm for sure making all of those items because they help me stay consistent. I've also developed those meals to be incredibly nutritious. I try to hit a lot of my target goals within those staple meals, and then I can work on some fillers as I go throughout the day. I'm very busy. I work a 9 to 5. I also have a family, so I do need staple meals to not only support my diet, but support my family's diet. So for you, as you're developing your go-to meals, these can be vegan replicas of some of your favorite childhood meals. They can also be recipes from things you're finding on YouTube. Both are great for developing staples in your diet and will help you be more consistent. Be experimental. Try new things and find out what works for you. So those are my top 5 things I wish I knew before I went plant-based. Are you ready to start your plant-based diet? Let me know in the comments. If you found any of this information helpful and you like this type of content, please like and subscribe to Javon Eats Granola. I will have more videos like this and great recipes. And until next time, peace.